Hello everyone, this is Dion Soul. I hope everyone is doing well. And today, as you see before you, we are in the in the PC Tweeve, the PC-12 by Carenado. And the reason why we're in the PC-12 is I wanted to go a little bit faster and not take a speed penalty hit with the current alias that I have, which is the Melviz DC-3. The Melviz DC-3 has been a good performing airplane, no problem at all. It's just that it's slower in hell, and I'm trying to make money in FSEconomy. So I've been trying different aircraft that are right around the same amount of fuel consumption as the Melviz alias on FSEconomy, and the PC-12 pretty much fits the bill. And when I have a tailwind, I can go as high as 320 or 312 up to 321 knots I've experienced, and not take a penalty hit with this combination of the Melviz 10 passenger count and then the PC-12. Now this PC-12 is the XP-10 version of the PC-12 by Carenado. So this is the older version, does not have all the bells and whistles, and is not as compatible with XP-11, especially with XP-11 version 11.40 beta 3 that we are currently have now. But it is working. I basically, all I really did is just loaded up the ACF file and then just turned around and saved it to the updated, plane maker format. And then also I did a tweaking on the exhaust. What was discussed in one of Austin's videos over at Max Force PC was the fact that there is a little bit of horsepower gain coming out of the exhaust of the airplane. So he said you got to put that figure of 0.10 is about what you want to do with a PT6, is what he said. So I've been doing that on all my PT6 aircraft that has a PT6 airplane or engine and putting that in there, and pretty much left everything else alone, but just saved it as a more modern updated plane maker file, an ACF file that way, and the airplane seems to be running fine. The only thing you will see when you see me actually start the engine is that I do have to wait until the N2 is all the way up to between 35, anywhere between 32 to 40% on the N2, and then I introduce fuel into the PT6, and then the airplane will kick over without having a fire. If you do it at 12% or 25% or 20%, you will get a fire, and then your flight is lost. So those are things that I'm learning. You don't have the glorious PBR textures, so you don't have the shine. It's dull, but it is what it is. So I just didn't feel it was justified paying for the airplane all over again when I already own it. I think Carenado is either greedy, or they just felt that their time in upgrading the airplane was justified in in having a full purchase of the same airplane you've already owned, an XP-10 to K11. I really think they should have followed the suit of all other aircraft developers and just had a discount, like a half off discount. At least they would have gotten some of my money instead of none of my money. Now, of course, I have bought other airplanes from Carenado, because Carenado, they are a fine developer. I'm not going to sit there and rag on them and tell them how evil they are. Just on this particular issue, I think they should have done a half-off scenario like other developers have done. They didn't see it that way, and so in this particular model, they don't have my money. Now, you will notice that the spinner is see-through. I've got a see-through spinner, and I do not know why, but I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to go with it in certain angles. And so I've got a glass spinner. Weird, but hey, whatever. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get on in the airplane. This is my livery that I threw together in about a couple hours. I just took an existing livery, added my tail number, and then changed the colors of it to make it my own, my red, white, and blue, and also I left the yellow intact because I thought the yellow was kind of cool. So everything else is typical. The fit and finish is still the same as X-Plane 1110. That quality, and so of X-Plane 11 Era, which still isn't bad. I mean, you can sit here and look at this, and you can still see the stitching and everything else, and so. It's kind of it's aged pretty well, and all the trade tables and everything are working fine. No problem there. So the airplane still's got legs. All the lights work and everything. All the interior lights work with no problems and whatnot. And like I said before, the only drama there is starting the engine, where you got to learn how to start the engine, and that sort of thing. You don't have any hit boxes to close the doors. You have to totally rely on the option, to close the door and that sort of thing. So that's fine, whatever. We'll go ahead and crawl inside here. And I am using the GTN 750, and I'm just using the 2D panel instead of the 3D panel. The X-Plane 11 version does have the 2D panel out of the box, or the 3D panel out of the box, that replaces the two Garmin 430s. So yes, that would be nice, but again, I am not going to spend another $32. I still think it should have been half off, but that's just me. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and get rid of the static elements here, and we'll go ahead and get going, and we'll do the flight here. So let me come on in over here. We'll go ahead and turn on the batteries, and I really need to learn the proper procedure on it. We'll go ahead and do that we have internal power, and that way we can go ahead and turn everything else on and get everything else ready to go. Inertial separator on, the probes on, seatbelt sign, and we'll go ahead and turn on the system. We are currently sitting at 7 degrees Celsius, so we'll go ahead and throw on a cabin heat, which really we don't have anything on right now, so that's really not going to work. We'll go ahead and do the navigation lights and the beacon lights, and then we'll turn all the other lights on once we start the engine and get our generators going. And we're going to go to see, we're not going that far, we're just going how far are we going, by the way? I need to go over here and look over here at FSEconomy. We're going only 52 nautical miles, so we'll just take it up to I could practically hand fly this, so we'll go ahead and we'll take it up to 12,500 feet, because it'll get there no problem. And we'll hand fly it till once we get cleared of the obstacles, and then we'll kick in the autopilot. Autopilot works just fine, no problem. I'll go ahead and bring up the Garmin, and we will go ahead, and that is incorrect. It does not like smaller airports like this, which is not a big deal, because I will go over here and put in O57, and then it brings it up, and I just take this one over here and I just hit remove, and there you go. And then we'll go ahead and put in KTVL, boom. And the KTVL, its altitude is going to be 6,300 feet. So 6,300 feet, not 6,300 feet roughly. And I'll either hand land the airplane, or I will, or I'll try to use the approach. We'll assume we're going to be landing on approach visual 118, so we'll go ahead and set that up accordingly. And so that's all set up. Flight timers, we can go ahead and reset that. We'll go ahead and let it know where we're at, so it can follow everything. We got nobody in the air around us, and I think that is all we need to do there. So we'll go ahead and do get the autopilot ready to go, and then we're going to do our indicated airspeed climb of about 140 knots or so. So take care of that. Everything else seems to be working just fine. I haven't really been having any problems. You can see, matter of fact, you can see somebody right there, just right out of the top, going out of field of view now. Terrain does not work, but the base does, I think. I'm not for sure on that. And we'll go ahead and throw in our oxygen in like that. There we go. And so we got oxygen set. We'll get rid of that, and then we will go ahead and start this beast. And we'll take these up, and then we'll go ahead and set everything else up. Fuel used is nothing. This part still works, it appears, so which has been good. All right, we'll go ahead and start. And like I say, we'll wait until we get right around on the in-tube RPM there, between about 30 to 35% or so. There's 35, so we'll go ahead and introduce fuel, and you'll watch this wrap out.
Fire.
And
Fire.
see, even at 35,
Fire.
I did it too fast. That is the problem. Let's see if it clears out. If not, we'll get to see an airplane on fire. There you go. Look at there. And we'll hit reverse. And we'll get the flyer coming out that way. Now to fix this, what you do is simply go over here. There. There, now. So you just fix it in midstream, and then you're good. And now to make sure that we are good with FSEconomy, now we'll go ahead and log in and start our flight. No, we don't want to cancel our flight. Okay, so now I just dodged a bullet. But that's I don't think you're going to have that problem with XP-11 version, but you do with the XP-10 version. And that's just the way it is. So we just have to adapt. That's all there is to it. Alright, we'll go ahead and turn everything on. Generators on. Generator on. Go ahead and get rid of our external power. Okay, beacons on. We'll go ahead and hit our taxi light, our wing lights, and strobes and landing lights we'll hit in a minute. And we'll go ahead and turn everything else on just for safety. So we'll turn all that on. And the interior temperature is 75 degrees, so we're good there. We'll leave it be. And we'll just go ahead and flaps one, and then we'll go ahead and go. So we are ready to rock and roll. And like I say again, this is an FSEconomy flight. And we have to do a complete spinner. And we have to judge the SOC, so we're going to take off at runway. We could take off right here. The wind's pretty much dead here, so we could take off at 3-4. That's fine. I am using, just for reference point, I am using on the joysticks. I did modify with the help of Bug Eater 64. I did modify the toe brakes, the left and the right toe brakes a little bit, so that's where I have them set at 70 and at 30, just so they're not as sensitive, because they like to really pull the airplane left and right really violently. So I modified that a little bit, and then I also in the joystick profile I did activate the wrong one, I guess. Yeah, here it is. I need to set the. Okay, I did not set those. I thought I set those, but I guess I did not. And we need to do linear. Okay. Oops, I just minimized that. Am I in the wrong one? Oh, that's why, because I'm in props. Duh. This is not what I want. That's why this wasn't here. So I need to get rid of that and just go back to default. That's props, and this airplane doesn't use props, so my bad. It's right here. There's our beta range. I set our beta range up and everything, so we are using the default beta with linear. You could probably fine tune it, and it's probably not as correct as it could be, but that's what I'm using. So all right, we'll go full on the the conditioners, and like I say, The beta does work. And it does back up the airplane. Works just fine. So, everything is working just fine, so we can go ahead and hit it. And going to get off the air. Get in the air. And get going. It'll take every bit of the runway. There we are. We are off the ground. Flaps up, gear up, positive rate. And we'll high fly it around. Hand fly it around a little bit. Sounds a little funny. As you can see, it's doing a contrail, and so that's kind of not correct, but that's all right. Okay, we'll go ahead and engage the autopilot right now. Do a 140 knot climb, 12,500 feet. As you can see, it's doing its contrail thing. So that's an XP-10 thing, I guess. And we're rocking and rolling. Interstate Highway 395 right there. And if you definitely like this video, definitely like, subscribe, and definitely if you feel like I am worthy, appreciate a little bit of donation on my PayPal account. It's most appreciated. Trying to make something out of this YouTube channel and my BitChute channel. I'm also over on BitChute as well. So I strictly work off of donations because the way YouTube is nowadays, YouTube is now become worthless. There is no chance for small channels ever today to be able to start making revenue off of YouTube, which is most unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. YouTube has just thrown small content creators under the bus, and they're strictly just using going after big business, going after the NBCs, ABCs, CBS, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's just no chance that small channels such as mine are ever going to be able to make the revenue stream. So we have PayPal instead. So anyway, we are at straight and level flight right now. We're gaining up speed, and then once we get up to where we need to be, it'll take us up to right around 225 knots or so. This airplane auto controls the props, so I do not have any control of the props. So I'll just pull us back to 60 gallons an hour. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And we are on our way. make a little scratch for myself, and then try to upgrade airplanes and just keep on rocking and rolling. Have a look outside here. I'm going to pull this sound down because I was about ready to blow my eardrums. There we go. A lot better. And look at that, we're already about 39 nautical miles away already. Eastern Sierra Nevada mountains. I did up the detail level to level 17 instead of 16. Some spots you see it's better, and other spots not so much. So it is what it is. Overall, it still looks good. I'm pleased with it. Matter of fact, I'm going to change our approach to this one. Load approach, and then we'll go ahead and activate it. And it should have the airplane go to that and then follow it on down. Now it does not, I have not been able to get VNAV to work, and I have not had VNAV work for a very long time. There's only been, I think the Embraer 175 is the only airplane I have that actually VNAV works. All the other airplanes I have, the VNAV does not work. So So, we're just sitting here just cruising away. About 120 knots indicated. Just trying to keep the fuel economy up. 60 knots, or 60 gallons an hour. Like I said, we got our see-through it's not a bad airplane. Not a bad, even for its age. Even for its age, it's not a bad airplane. That's the only downside of orthos. You have that separation between one tile and another, and you see that abrupt change right there where the tiles were taken in at a different time, and because of that you'll have that when one side's got snow and the other side does not. That definitely breaks the immersion factor, but when you're normally flying and you don't see that, then of course then it's better. So I'll take the hit on things like that for the overall benefit that you get. But again, that's personal preference. Some people don't like it. Hey, that's their prerogative. They don't like it. They don't like it. I'm not going to judge them. So just don't judge me. So, all we can do now is just wait. I think I'll speed it up a little bit, and then I'll come back once we're on final. And there's Mr. Bug Eater 64, by the way. This cam is provided by Doug Eater 64 because he donated to the channel. And because he donated to the channel, I will give him a shout out, and you can do the same thing. Again, as I said before, in my PayPal account, and you can donate to the channel, and there is my PayPal link right there, and I will give you a shout out yourself and your channel, or your channel. So we'll zoom here and we'll be right back.
Vertical track.
Well, we're just slowly working our way down here, and we're coming up to next waypoint here, trying to get to 8,700 feet. This airplane does not want to descend. It likes to stay in the air. It's like a glide ratio of insane. It acts like. Once I get below 160 knots, I'm going to go ahead and deploy the, which is way too early, but just to keep the damn thing in check, deploy 1 notch of flaps. Because if I don't, I'm going to miss the approach. It's kind of silly having to deploy the flaps this far out, but it is what it is. And now I don't have to worry about it because now we do have the the glide slope. It's on the glide slope now, or the RNAV approach. It's taking me right on home. You can bring up the ATIS for this area, so I know exactly when I change my
South Lake Tahoe
311. Oh, that's not much.
Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 7. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3011.
Sync heading. It's not working. Oh, I don't need failures. Failures
South
happens
Lake Tahoe
just
weather.
fine on its own.
Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 7. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3011. South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 7. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3011.
Okay, it's my plane, so it's, as you can tell, it's my plane.
South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 7. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3011.
Get this thing on the ground.
South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 7. Dew point 5. Altimeter 3011.
Now I'm going to float the airplane just a little bit.
South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable.
Yeah, I've done better. I think I forgot to deploy my landing lights. I did. I got my taxi light on though. I'm set up for taxiing though. Oopsie. Keep heavy on the beta just to keep the airplane down, because the airplane, if I wasn't in the beta, this thing would just take off like a rocket, practically. Okay, taxi, landing lights off, strobes off, which I never had on in the first place. Okay, went through the whole flight with the inertial separator on. Yay me! That will be the pretty much end of that. But hey, for a XP-10 airplane, it works just fine. It doesn't have some of the bells and whistles, and even the XP-11 version of this airplane, it doesn't even have the Librane windshield effects, so there's really no incentive for me to actually buy it, you know. Now, maybe if this was the only plane I ever flown or ever fly, then maybe, you know, then maybe you can make a case. But the only reason why I'm flying it now is because I just need it for this particular mission until I get, you know, enough cash to move on to the next plane, and then I'll never see it again, or at least for a while. So. Alright, over here, and then we'll turn off our taxi light, turn off our wing lights, navigation being left on, separator still on, get rid of the probes, and we go ahead and connect the power, stop the generators, and then pull back on the conditioner to shut it off. And look at the invisible it's just in the right, got to get in the right spot. And you got your chrome. Why it's that way, I don't know. And we'll just open everything up. Boom, boom. And that's that. So there is the X-Plane 10 version and X-Plane 11 40B3 PC-12. So works fine. Just like I say, you don't have the eye candy and don't have some other features, but you gotta do what you got. You gotta go with what you can afford, right? So anyway, I hope you guys appreciate like this video, and I think one last thing we need to do is go ahead and take a look at what it looks like. The landing looks like. So let me toggle that. Let me close all the doors because they will be open when I'm. And yeah, and then we'll go back to right about here, I guess. If I move it a little further, a little further.
Traffic.
A bit more. Okay, there's the airport. So let's see if I can get a. Let's see if I can get an airport. First, we'll go to tower. Okay, and we are currently at tower. Disconnect from tower, and let's go to right about here somewhere. Or so. And there's my airplane. Okay, real time.
South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10.
That's because I was...
Sky clear, temperature 7, dew point 5. Altimeter 3011. South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 7, dew point 5. Altimeter 3011.
See another airplane way off in the distance. Light on anyway.
South Lake Tahoe weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 7, dew point 5. Altimeter 3011.
Okay, now how to do that? It jumped on me. You can see I'm floating it. And I touch down. A little crow hop there. Like I said, those are the old sounds. It has the sim is loading in all the stuff after the fact. But oh well. Well, guys, again, I definitely appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like, subscribe, and all that happy stuff. And I'll catch you guys next time on another exciting X-Plane Adventures. See you guys next time. Bye.